I've never liked 911s, mainly because of their reputation. It was like going out for a drink with a murderer. Maybe a nice chap, but who knows, at any moment he may lean over and stab you in the forehead. Climbing into this after a spell in the other two is like climbing into a house after a week in an allotment shed. There's something else too. Racing cars which have been converted for road use never really work. It's like making a hardcore adult film and then editing it so that it can be shown in British hotels. You just end up with a sort of half-hour close-up of some bloke's sweaty face. It's like they sat down at AMG and said, "Go on, let's have a giggle. Go on!" This is working with me. It's saying, yes, go on, Jeremy, go on. Oh. It's like driving a Nissan Micra with the view out of the window speeded up. There are castles. This one is home to the Morthy-Do, a huge dog that terrifies people to death. Nigel Mansell used to live here. Rick Wakeman and Norman Wisdom still do. It's like Beverly Hills with kippers.
It's a performance artwork. It's like music and dance. That is what it's like, I think. And we hate it.
But, James, do we hate it as much as we hate this filthy, filthy Lexus?
Well, that's a slightly ridiculous question. It's like asking me which of your legs I hate the most, the left one or the right one.
We have to make our minds up. You need to define greatness, and that's the important thing. And just because something's unreliable, doesn't mean it isn't great. Stephen Hawking's great bloke, even though a lot of him doesn't work.
Yeah, I wouldn't break it to him like that.
No, but that's...
But the principle stands, yeah, it does. Yes, the engine may be from a Volvo, but it's made by Yamaha. It's a V8 twin engine. It's absolutely magnificent, and this car, above all else, is light. Comparing these is like, it's like comparing me with you. The power-to-weight ratio is insane. 541 brake horsepower per tonne in there. That's Bugatti Veyron territory, and you know it.
Oh, my God, how much burgundy can you get in one car? It's like an American motel room.
They must have scraped out all the burgundy mines in the world. What colour should we make the seats?
Burgundy.
What about the dash, though?
Burgundy.
Oh, good idea.
But the switch, the button on the end of the cruise control stalk...
Burgundy.
...is burgundy. Yes. This is ridiculous. It's like driving to Barnard Castle to see if your eyesight works.
It did it in, no, higher than that, 119.6. So it's there, look, between the Lamborghini Gallardo and a Ferrari Scuderia.
Yeah, not bad, but it's hardly in the medals, is it? I mean...
What this is it's like Robert Downey Jr. He's never won an Oscar, but he's still brilliant. Anyway,
No idea what that means.
Yes, well, you work it out, because it produces, as near as makes no difference, 400 horsepower. Small wonder they called it the PCP, because it really is like driving around in a cloud of angel dust.
This is a bizarre kind of fast. It's quiet and relaxed and smooth. It's like swimming over a waterfall of double cream.
As a driver's car, this is spectacularly good. It's like Scarlett Johansson's lips or the roof of Paddington Station. Absolutely faultless. It is a fantastic little car, this. It's like driving a rorty sorbet. With its clever V4 engine, a Fulvia was actually the first Lancia to win the World Rally Championship. The seats are hard and unsupportive. The ride on normal roads is very uncomfortable, if I'm honest. And I don't know about you, but I find this interior rather boring, apart from that, obviously, the talk thing. It's like sitting in someone's ear.
Air.
It's so underrated.
It's thick.
It's like breathing soup.
It's thick. Yeah, you can bite off pieces of it and chew it.
It's like lung nectar.
The McLaren then is like a pair of tights, very practical and very sensible. The Ferrari, though, that is a pair of stockings.
What are you on about?
Well, tights and stockings are designed to do exactly the same job, but they don't.
I don't know, I only wear socks, Jeremy.
You see, a normal car like this is strong because the two ends are connected together by a roof and a floor, two pieces of metal. Now, if you take the roof away, you end up with the big heavy engine here connected to the steering and suspension gubbins there by just the floor. Well, it's like having two bricks joined together by a playing card. It's going to be all wobbly.
The faster you go, the thicker the air effectively becomes. At 100 miles an hour, it's like aerosol whipped cream. But at 200 miles an hour, it's more like a very thick treacle. And at 250 miles an hour, it's like trying to drive through a fruitcake. And cutting through the fruitcake requires more than just brute force. Which is why this Veyron has a new, super slippery body.
Things were looking good for Top Gear UK. You know what? It was turning out to be like the real Ashes. Complete whitewash.
For a sporting nation, they're quite bad at sport, aren't they?
No, it's quite embarrassing.
It's like having a competition to see which country's best at invading Poland and then Germany coming last.
Anyway, we'll pick that up later on. It's the one that gets me, not 200, 201. It's like when kids say, everything you say plus one.
And you know you've got 1,000 horsepower. You're going to burst out if you get it wrong. Ooh, you need to be awake. It's like driving an explosion. It really is just Semtex with a steering wheel.
Can I just say, though, I was looking carefully, the last little bit there as it came out of the hole, I noticed that the rear tyre had been blown off the rim.
7 pounds of plastic explosive, and all it did was blow the tyre off them.
But a car with the tyre blown off is as useless as a car that's been blown to smithereens, really.
Well, no, 7 pounds.
No, he's right, because it's a bit like saying, my watch survived the explosion completely unscathed. Well, I mean, the hour hand's come off, but apart from that...
It's like saying, I survived the explosion apart from my head, which is over there.
Will you two please just stop saying things?
You wait till you see what happens to a house when it is presented with this moving at 400 RPM.
Well, if the house immediately explodes, you'll be okay, but that's about it.
That's what it does. It just goes around doing this.
It's like a mechanical cat. It's a military machine with some white paint on it.
It isn't military, it's for clearance and saving lives. Princess Diana had one of these.
Yes! It really is like off-roading quite a large building.
And what makes that quite surprising is that the 1M is like a turkey curry on Boxing Day. It's made from leftovers. The door mirrors are from the current M3. The rear axle is from the old one. The engine is from a Z4. It's a recipe that shouldn't work, but it does. Sitting in an old Jag, even the last one, was like sitting in a country pub. You were cramped with beams you half expected to be steering with a wagon wheel. This, though, with the blue lighting around the vents and the blue glow in the door pockets, they've even lined this cubbyhole and the glove box, as you can see, with purple velvet. That's like lifting up the Queen's skirt and finding she's wearing a thong.
Choosing between these two is like choosing between shirt or trousers. It's pointless. But I will say this, we simply wouldn't be where we are now without them.
One of the things we've learned over the years on this show is if you want a small, fast saloon car, you have to buy a BMW M3. I mean, you can go off if you want and buy a fast Mercedes or a fast Audi, but that's like going out and buying a PlayStation war game that isn't Call of Duty. The M3 is the best, and that's an end of it. It's not the paving stone in the back I'm worried about, it's the automatic gearbox. Doing a drag race with an auto is like doing a 100-metre sprint in wellies, full of tadpoles.
Again, the steering wheel had what appeared to be saliva staining on it. And lastly, really, we had pubic hairs and faeces present with them.
Oh, sorry, did you just say the word faeces, you said?
What certainly appeared to be fecal matter, yes.
That's poo, isn't it?
That's poo. It's...
Your car's got poo in it.
Is that normal that you've...
Well, it's like driving around in a Moroccan prison, isn't it, really? I'm in the front of his car. So the next island along is where Mr. Willman has built his community for American car enthusiasts.
I'm excited by this idea of a place where we can go in our American cars and not be embarrassed. It is like nudists. They want to run around with no clothes on, but you can't do that where everybody else is wearing clothes. You'd feel silly. So they go amongst like-minded people where everyone's doing the same.
This car is like an elephant with the reflexes of a water boatman. And if you're watching in Poland and you don't know what a water boatman is, it's like an Evo 10, it really is. And if you're watching in Ethiopia and you don't know what an Evo 10 is, what I mean is it does things rather well. No, not well. Why did I say well? Oh, God.
Look at Jeremy's Range Rover lumbering along. This great, heavy beast of burden. This is like a little mountain goat. It just skips along. Talk to the devil. Hello.
Of course, the paddle gearbox is better in this than it is in the Aston, but that is like saying that rabies is better than botulism as he comes round the last corner and across the line. Oh, my God. Come on, get a straight line! I may have more firepower, but trying to keep up with the Audi is like trying to win the Grand National whilst riding a lion that's made out of teeth and jelly. It sort of wobbles about, and then if you're not careful, it bites your arm off. Ah. The problem is that there's almost no feel. Braking in this car is like mountaineering in a pair of Wellingtons. They are very odd.
This may be road legal, but it isn't driver friendly.
I think I'm going to go left.
Steering it is like helming a Spanish galleon. And there's another problem.
The little Fiat is all about style. And if I'm honest, the Citroën is like a sponge cake with writing on the roof. It's very soft, it's very quiet, it's very comfortable. This is none of those things. But the best thing is the noise. It sounds baleful, it sounds like a wild animal that's sad about something. Oh no! I've got my paw stuck! Ow! 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 The trouble is, I didn't think the crossbow would be much good either. I'm not sure with these tyres, which are so sticky, that this is going to work. It's like driving on super glue. You do it. Your ears are sorted with a Category 7 Hurricane. Because there's no roof, you've got a Category 9 Hurricane, really messing with your hairstyle.